Um, Another one that, again, just kind of by default today, we're being, it is now a health hazard is our air quality, both indoor and outdoor.
Yes.
So, um, our air quality outdoor, the World Health Organization says that 99% of the global population breathes air that exceeds safe pollution levels at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, all of us.
Yeah.
Then we consider that we have an increase in wildfires, um, which is, just kind of by default. Again, Mother Nature's changing. We have a lot more fires. I think almost every year now we're seeing
Yeah.
huge somewhere across the country or in Canada.
Yes.
And we can see it in the air. You can see it at sunset. Like it's changing the color of our sky. So obviously it's everywhere. We can't avoid breathing that in. Um, and increasing our levels of carbon dioxide exposure, sulfur dioxide. There's also industrial emissions from factories, so pollutants. We've gotten a lot more um, strict on air pollution regulations, but it's still not perfect. We
Yeah.
still can see those smokestacks with emissions just constantly going into the sky in certain parts of the country. So, um, you know, whether or not you live very close to it, it's in our air that we're breathing.
Right.
Um, and yeah, again, we're, there's heavy metals in the air, and asthma and lung conditions are on the rise due to our compromised air quality at this point. So it's unfortunate to hear. This is an area where I don't think that there's a whole lot I can say that is going to make anything better, but
Yeah.
it's something to be aware of just by breathing the air when we step outside these days. Unfortunately, it's saying all of us are breathing in air that is not of the most quality at this point.
Right. I always suggest too, like for people who are interested, if you want to detox or do a detox on a monthly basis, just to get any type of toxins that have come into our body that may be leaching in or stored in our body to cleanse your body and to just cleanse out those toxins as best as possible. And then, for me, I notice that I feel more energetic when I do a cleanse. I feel much better. And I can feel the change.
That's so true. That's very true. Saunas are another great way
Hmm.
to detox.
Yes.
Anything you can, exercising too, where to the point where you're sweating.
Hmm.
All of those are helping to purge that stuff out. Heavy metal detoxes are fantastic too. I mean, if we're breathing in heavy metals, unfortunately, in the air we're breathing, doing heavy metal detoxes can be a fantastic way to kind of combat those exposures. So great
Yeah.
points that you bring up. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Indoor air pollution is also a big concern.
Hmm.
Off-gassing, which isn't regularly t talked about as often, but modern furnitures, even clothes, carpets, paints, all have formaldehyde, benzenes, chemicals that when, they're made to be industrial and long lasting, fire resistant, but they actually are toxic for us
Yes.
and produce emissions that are unsafe for us to breathe in.
Yeah.
Um, so, there was a fad where everything was fireproof. I think in like the late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s, but actually that was all just loaded with toxic chemicals that were
Hmm.
impacting our lungs. And I
Yeah.
think child asthma rates increased significantly right around that same time. So
Right.
um, our bodies do see the effects of these type of chemicals. Our cleaning products, unfortunately, are also extremely hazardous to our air quality indoors.
Yes.
I'd say especially bleach.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
we love the smell of bleach. Bleach gives like a clean feeling when you smell it, but it
Yeah.
also is extremely toxic to breathe
Hmm.
in and can actually kill us if we ingest it to a high enough degree, especially to young children, infants and babies. So just noting that we normalize these heavy chemicals for the sake of keeping everything sterile and as clean as possible.
Yeah.
But are these heavy chemicals worth, they're compromising our health in one way. So, killing chemicals, but you're also hurting your body at the same time. So thinking about using more natural cleaning products, stuff that aren't loaded with toxins, aren't labeled
Yeah.
poisons, that's something to consider. There's still a lot of effective cleaning products
Oh,
that are
yeah.
more natural ingredients that aren't compromising your health to that degree. So even stuff that you could drink, personally, I would like something if I spill it on myself a little bit, I know I'm going to be safe. So
Yeah.
I definitely I've made my own cleaning products, but I steer more towards the more natural, gentler cleaning products over the heavy toxic ones. And I
Yeah.
recommend that for a lot of people just to consider, even though I know we were raised in an era where bleach was king,
Yeah.
as far as keeping everything clean. So poor ventilation too. Personally, I live in a house that's over 120 years old.
Hmm.
So my house doesn't have any air vents. So just thinking about your ventilation systems in your house and regularly cleaning those air filters if you have them.
Yes.
Some doesn't, but I do have a electronic air purifier that we put in our house, kind of to act similar as like a ventilation system or an HVAC
Right.
system. Um, so just kind of another thing to think about. Dust mites, mold, carbon monoxide, we don't want any of that, but we also um, want to think about making sure that we're having the ventilations and everything that's clean too. Some dirty air filters, I mean, over time, that's doing more harm than good too.
Right.
So, um, just being aware of your both outdoor and indoor air quality can really do wonders. And then, like you said, doing things to detox, doing things like breath work, even
Yeah.
like Himalayan salt, it can be really cleansing for our lungs. So there are some both natural and effective ways to kind of detox the respiratory system.
Right.